So to my understanding, I understand also when a school district property, they do have to report to the state, not to the city when it comes to development and so forth. But in that location, from what I understand, is the district making money to allow them to dump there?
They're renting to two different contracting groups, ABCUSD and Onyx Construction.
Robert, if you can respond to that.
Yeah, it's my understanding, and I can defer to Mr. Samos, who was working with the contractor, but it's my understanding that the school district has entered into an agreement, or did enter an agreement with the contractors for the use of the site temporarily, I assume for some sort of financial consideration. But I can defer also to Mr. Samos to speak to any follow-up that has already been made with the contractor in response to these concerns.
So how long was that contract, existing for, and how long? Sir, please. I'm addressing staff right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So the contractor, to my knowledge, was utilizing that site at the beginning of paving operations, which was the removal of asphalt materials, specifically along 183rd Street. And that occurred at the beginning of, at the end of last week, and a little bit more towards the beginning of this week. The agreement, we are not privy, again, as Mr. Lopez stated, it's a private agreement between the contractor and the school district. So the city of Cerritos was not privy to their agreement details, but they entered into some sort of an agreement in which the contractor was allowed to use that private property from the city's perspective for construction staging of equipment and or materials. It is my understanding that the contractor is no longer using that site, and the school district has since redacted their agreement with the contractor.
Okay, so do we have a time frame for them to clean that all out? Do we know that?
I am not privy to those details. Again, that's an agreement between the contractor and what is the school district, which is, as far as the city is concerned, a private entity.
Can we find out though?
Of course,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you. And then Bruce, I think you have a comment?
It surprised me, the contract is between us and them for the streets, is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
And we don't have any terms that describe what happens to the material?
We do have terms on what happens to material. They are required to terminate their materials and at a specific dump site. But in between that time in which the materials are removed, they could have taken it to their own construction yard or another yard. They need to prove to the city that the end result of where their materials are disposed of is in a approved facility.
Well, this sounds exactly like a number of articles in the LA Times over the years where companies have allowed things to pile up and create air pollution, health issues. And to me, the contracts were never specific. And they allowed, health issues to develop. And of course, that forced the residents in the areas to go ahead and do petitions, all kinds of things, trying to get the attention of authorities. And to me, what I'm hearing is that we have a loophole on our contracts. Because what you're telling me is that we haven't dictated exactly what's going to happen to that material and when and how it's going to be out of the area. So if we allow them to go enter into a contract that is beneficial to them, to put over on, I assume it's the old ball field area for ABC where Cerritos Artesia Little League used to play baseball. And they've stored stuff over there for years. So if that's an issue, I think we need to, look at our contracts to be sure that this never happens again.
We definitely can do that. Up until this point, we've never had a concern or this need has never arisen. Contractors have typically taken their materials directly to the dump site, to the disposal location. This is the first time that we've been notified, and I was notified. As soon as I was notified, I asked the contractor why they were taking it to there, and their response was that they had entered an agreement with the school, and that they were doing this to speed up the construction for our streets.
Okay. I think on the interim, I think it'd be worth having a consent calendar item to have a clause developed that we can look at to be sure that this is preventable in the future.
If I may, council member and council, we'll certainly look at the agreement and address the concern on if there's a loophole. My hunch is that what we'd also want to do is look and see if the contractor is in breach, not alleging that they are right now, but it sounds like there's obviously some concerns with the residents. And typically our contracts do require all contractors and the vendors to follow industry standards and levels of care, and it sounds like that required level in the contract might not have been met here in the first place, but we can certainly look at the agreement language as necessary to.
Chung, you had a consent item. Can we modify it?
You can have
this become an agenda